Okay, well, I guess we're going to start the planning board meeting today, August 18th, 2025. And on the agenda that's in front of you, if there's any changes or modifications, does anyone have any indication that we need to do something?
We need to do roll call.
Roll call? Have we ever done that?
I mean, don't you need attendance?
Well, I don't know if we have a new member, if anybody wanted to go around and just introduce themselves.
Oh, let's do
if
that.
you want to.
Denton, we'll start down at your end. Who are you? We're introducing ourselves.
Oh, okay, Denton Hagman.
Susie Ledford.
Kim Leister.
Travis Talent.
Tom Harris.
Debbie Talent.
I'm Richard Brady.
Richard Brady.
Richard. Okay. You need to get you a sign.
And that's Justin.
Yeah, I've got him one ordered. It just ain't here yet.
All right. So, again, any changes on the agenda? None recommended? And then we have the approval of the June 16th meeting minutes. They're in front of you.
Motion to approve.
Any second?
Second. Yeah.
All in favor?
I'd like to have a discussion, if we could, on the minutes.
Oh, sure.
Okay, did we have a second? Yes. I couldn't hear it, okay. I just prepared myself for this meeting and going over town minutes and crosswalking things with the meeting minutes that you've had prior and everything. I just have found something I wanted to discuss just today, once and for all, put it out there and just resolve it in my mind. I noticed that the meeting minutes of June 16th, 2025, there were 5 members there, and then there was 3 members that were absent. Out of the 5 members, when I crosswalked and looked at paperwork, I found that 3 out of the 5 members that participated in the motion and the voting and in the business, their terms have expired. So I just wanted to mention that today to see if anyone else had noticed that, and make for certain that somebody's aware. At the time, Chair Green, her term expired on April the 2nd. Vice Chair Mr. Harris had expired April 2nd. And then Mrs. Talent's time had expired. So, and when I say expired, I just looked in the information that Justin provided me, and it stated that, you get 3-year appointments. And so April 2 expired, May 1 expired, so that leaves just 2 members. And then, so I just wondered, what's the legal aspect of the outcome of that meeting for that applicant? I just don't want something to come up later for the applicant.
So, once a term expires, it doesn't mean, by state statute, it doesn't mean that it's like drop dead, you're off the board. It's until you can continue to serve until a replacement has been named or you've been reappointed. Okay. And all those members have been reappointed since then. So it's, because we've had times and sometimes we work them to try to get where you get some all at the same time, so you're not doing one every month. Right,
okay. And I was just going by the information that's on the website, that's all. I just thought, well, is this a oops? Should it be identified? It's nothing personal or professional, it's just something I wanted to follow up on to make for certain that we're all good going forward. Because on our planning board website, it's got incorrect dates, and that's all I was going by. And I just said, wow, okay, well, and this is the minutes we're approving, so just want to make for certain that it was out there and everybody was aware of it.
We have a website?
Well, Town of Franklin,
Okay.
Town of Franklin, and then you go to the planning department. Okay. Yeah. So I did that just in preparation of trying to come up to speed, reading what past meeting minutes there were, things like that, and I just said, well, this is different. So that's all. That was the purpose for the discussion.
Now, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, I just didn't want something to come later out of it for the applicant, because I know what you approved at that meeting has already been approved by the board, town board, so I just wanted to bring it up.
All righty.
That's it.
Anything else before we move on?
Well, I just want to mention, remember, this is an advisory board. What we say doesn't become law or anything, so.
That's true. Yeah, what we pass along, they'll sometimes vote with it, and sometimes they vote against it at the town level.
Right.
Where was I? So we had a motion to approve the minutes?
And second.
And second?
Travis.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Alrighty. New business, the UDO text amendments. And Justin, do you want to run with that?
All right, so so the text amendments come about because council, so sometime, over the years, time to time, whenever we get a rezoning, a map amendment, something that comes before the council, we'll, by general, we're following general statute, following the UDO, we'll have our, it's forwarded to us, then we review it, make a recommendation, goes back to council. Well then, by the general statute, then once it goes to council, that's when you set a hearing, and then letters go out to neighboring property owners or people within 400 feet, so on, depending on the type of map or the amendment it is. And at times, then people who are being rezoned or is adjoining the rezoning comes to the town council meeting, and it's set to be voted on that night potentially, and that's their first time of going before a board and talking. And then times that, they will come to town council, voice oppositions or concerns, and then council listens to it and sends it back to us. We've had that back and forth 2 or 3 times. So council brought up the idea of kind of going above and beyond the state statute and adding the first they wanted to call it a public hearing at planning board. Me and John kind of thought it wasn't best to call it another public hearing, and thinking that that's their option. Their one option is to come here, but just take public comment at the planning board for text or map amendments, rezonings, so then they can, and so we'd mail out letters and do the whole step. So you're adding another way of notifying people of a map amendment earlier. And then once you hear from them, make your decision or your recommendation, send it to council, then we do it. When we do the hearing, there'd be another round of letters, and they can come there and say if they weren't happy with planning board, you can say there, voice their concerns or pleasures or whatever, how they want from there. So that's kind of where the text amendment part come in. They were requesting us to look at that and look at the language and adding that. So in the process of doing that, there were some other little changes, some things that we need to clean up in the UDO. So before I get into that, the first section, which is 152.070, and that's the establishment of Board of Adjustment and qualifications of members, found that, so when the state passed 160D in 2021, they made it a requirement that you had to have equal representation or as close as equal representation for planning board and ETJ members. Well, at the time, we had the 5 in-town seats and we had 2 ETJ members. So there's only 7 on the board. So that when we made the 160D changes, we went to 3 ETJ members on the board, but we still have the old text of saying 2. So this is cleaning that up, where we added the third ETJ seat and changing it from 7 to an 8-member board. Found a section where it's reference board of aldermen, changed it to town council. And then there was a section in here talking about members shall serve without pay, but may be reimbursed for expenses, like if you were traveling or something to, sometimes, board members can go to seminars or, something the school government puts on. Striking that out, because we've also, the council voted to start paying the planning board. We looked back in 2008, and that's been in there ever since. So cleaning that up, cleaning up the ETJ from 2 to 3, and then John recommended adding this rules of procedure section here. as you see. And so John put that in. As you can, if you want to read that. And I don't know if you want to discuss this or you want me to discuss all of it at once?
Let's just stick with this one since it's
Okay.
fresh in our minds.
All right. So that's kind of what, this is just kind of a cleanup thing, and then John added D. That was his recommendation.
You have any comments or recommendations from what we've heard so far? Sounds pretty logical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have to vote on each separate
Well,
one?
just-
or
we'll just call this
as a whole?
case one.
I think it's a whole,
We'll
yeah.
move on.
Okay. You want me to go on to the next one?
Please, please.
All right, so the next one, as you saw in the text, is section 152.162. This was just something else cleaning up as well. This was, so for a while, we will, when somebody applies for a rezoning, they've always paid for, they have their fee. They have their fee for the rezoning fee, whether it's $50 or $150 or $200. And you can see here, it did say the application for amendment to cover, it said to cover the cost of advertising. So like a residential rezoning is only $50. That's not going to cover advertising. So the practice has been people, they pay for the fee for the rezoning, and then they also pay for whatever the advertising is in the press that we have to do, the newspaper of record where we have to advertise it. So it's usually, $120, $150, somewhere in there. They reimburse the town. Town pays it, they just reimburse. So that's kind of to put it in here to show that, pay the fee and whatever the cost of advertising is. Not making no money, just, not making even, oh, there's Janet. Just kind of go with the practice of doing the advertising. And then going down, here's the questions, the finding of facts questions. Has said principles of growth, which is what the town went by for years. Town adopted a comprehensive plan, changing that, putting the comprehensive plan in there instead of principle of growth. And then B is the section talking about the notice, so we're talking about where council wants us to have the notice. And you can see the notice of planning board reviews, public hearing before town council. And then it's talking about, town council after planning board advises for comments, and the town council provides a public notice and hearing. And then this section in parentheses, let me just see some more of it. That's, John kind of wordsmithed that up, put that in there. I had it a little more simple than that, so that's what he put in there. So that's 162 and 163. Those are the changes. And that's all of the recommended changes to the text amendment that I have.
Any questions or concerns about what he brought up today? It's all within the state law, so.
Yeah, everything, it's just, updating, we're going to, if we add the public comment at council or at plan board, it's just, we're doing an extra step that we don't have to, but, the public's gonna have more option to comment.
That makes sense.
And it might be less, we have one meeting instead of 3 meetings on something, like we've had to in the past, because council sends things back.
All righty. Well, we got 3 changes to the text that's been discussed here, and if anyone has any questions, we'll try to answer them. Otherwise, I'll make them, see if someone can make a motion to accept the text amendment.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Any second? Denton, second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All righty. Could go over the findings of fact.
Yep, if you want to go through them, just remember on the findings of facts, try to have more than one word answers.
The proposal will place all property similarly situated in the area in the same category or in appropriate complementary categories.
It's not applicable.
It's not really.
Yeah, and some of these might not be applicable to text amendments, but it's,
Not that one.
yeah.
So we got more than one word than not applicable.
It's two.
Okay, 2 words. There is convincing demonstration that that all uses permitted under the proposed district classification would be in the general public interest and not merely in the interest of an individual or a small group. Letting the public have more time to speak in front of the boards is a good idea.
Yes, just put yes, it will give the public an opportunity to speak
And
prior to.
it'll decompress the town council from having meetings thrown in their face without any input from us to speak out. There is convincing demonstration that all uses permitted under the proposed district classification would be appropriate in the area included in the proposed change. And we're not really doing a district classification, so other than that, applicable. There is convincing demonstration that the character of any neighborhood will not be materially or adversely affected by any use permitted in the proposed change. That's another NA.
Yeah.
And the last one, the proposed change is in accord with the principle of growth, sound planning principles, and any applicable small area plan. It does streamline the situation, so I'd say yes.
Yeah, and
And it
Obviously,
goes on with law.
obviously it's not talking about the comprehensive plan yet, but in the comp plan, we talk about updating UDO to new state, So there is things in our UDO talking about making changes to the UDO to fit the public's need or, state statutes, that kind of thing.
Alrighty. So, if we're in consensus with what we discussed on the findings of fact, do we have a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept.
Any second?
I'll second.
And all in favor? Any opposed? Alrighty. Well, then the next thing is the next planning board meeting is going to be September 15th. Whose birthday is that?
Not mine.
Yours? Okay. So we can adjourn the meeting. Is that all right with y'all? Or you get anyone that got anything else to concern or bring up while we're here?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? And second? I'm in favor. Okay. Well, thank you for coming, and September 15th will be here before we know it.
Yes.